Okay, good morning everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. My name is Alima Nur Hasana, and today I am becoming an MC in our program. The program is English Teaching Forum, with the topic is about enhancing student motivation to learn English with Miss Angela and Miss Maria Isabel. The first honorable to Miss Miss Agustiani Ernawati as a Mualimat Director, and then honorable to Miss Mariska as a American Corner UMY Director, and honorable to Mr. Dwi Setiawan as a moderator today, and honorable to Miss Angela and Miss Maria Isabel to our speaker today, and to all of the participants, the student from Mualimat. And the next agenda is the English Teaching Forum program with Miss Angela and Miss Maria Isabel. This program will be guided with Mr. Dwi Setiawan as a moderator. To Mr. Dwi Setiawan, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, MC. Yeah. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. In the name of God, the most beneficial and the most merciful, who is the God all mankind, who has been giving us blessings so we can meet here without any trouble virtually, exactly. Yeah. So the Honorable, the Director of Madrasah Mualimat Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta, Mrs. Agustiana Ernawati MPD, the respectable, the Director of American Corner University of Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta, Mrs. Mariska Intansari SSMA. Alhamdulillah, I remember. Okay, and all my lovely students of Madrasah Mualimat Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta, and good morning to you all.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, so I'm so happy to see everyone here today. So, virtually, exactly. So thank you very much for your attendance and for your participation, director, teacher, maybe lecturer, and student, all the student of Madrasah Mualimat Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta who taking time out and be here of particular moment. So we would like to welcome all of you to international class brought to you, organized by American Corner UMY, University of Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta, and Secondary School Mualimat Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta, Indonesia. Okay, so my name is Justiawan, but every people call me Satya, yeah, Mr. Satya. It is an honor to me to be a moderator in this event. I hope that this can be running well exactly this morning. So as we know, yeah, as a prologue, I think, as we know, the situation that we are in now, pandemic, COVID-19, it has affected many aspects of our life, like education, learning, entertainment, lifestyle, and so on and so on. And it is totally a new world that we're living now, right away. So we can get together, we can study at school, we can go to mall, we can go to market, maybe we can go to church, we can go to malls or anything. So, but we still need to be connected, right? To develop our skill, to develop our competency, especially in English. That's why American Corner UMY and Madrasah Mualimat Muhammadiyah hold this agenda today, this morning, because we have the same concern about education, about learning, to develop students' skill, especially in learning English. Exactly. So even though the students the student, just for information for the speaker, Miss Angela and Miss Maria Isabel, the student right now is coming from every province in Indonesia, coming from west to east and south to north, exactly. So if you think, you imagine about the people of Indonesia, you just come into our school, all people just coming from different province in Indonesia. Okay, so in this event, namely international class that we are going to do, today we are privileged to have with us two distinguished speakers, guest star on panel discussion that we want to talk about maybe the importance of English and how to master English, and maybe a little bit more about the cross-cultural understanding. So the student can understand, can get knowledge, can get new perspective about language, about America, maybe about anything about the world. So I hope that is my purpose of this agenda. So my student, you are lucky for joining this event. I do hope from you so we can address your idea and experience. Please share your thought and comment in comment box during presentation, during the speaker talking maybe. So with us here in Zoom meeting right now, already present here, the first speaker is Miss Angela Zhu, and the second speaker, Miss Maria Isabel, I think. So before we begin, I think in each of panelists, each of speaker will deliver. It's about 30 minutes. Miss Angela and Miss Maria Isabel, maybe it's about 30 minutes, yeah, and then you deliver your thought, your thinking about your presentation about 30 minutes each, and then after that we have a Q&A, question and answer section. So the student will ask you maybe using a chat box, maybe directly, yeah, directly asking you about anything. So second information for the speaker, the audience right now is the student of the secondary school of Mualimat Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta, Indonesia. The age is about 16 and until 19 years old, maybe. Yeah, maybe they have different background of level of English. So something like that, because they are coming from different province in Indonesia. And then this school is the girls' school. Yeah, the girls' school. This school have or consists of 1,231 female school in that school right now. But maybe join us here right now, maybe just 100 or 200 is about that. Yeah. So I hope that is, it's going to be very useful for the students. So yeah, it's like, it's a pandemic, COVID-19. They have to study at home and then they have to develop their skill at home. So maybe you have some kind of tip to increase, to enhance the English language or something like that. So for the student, I think for the student, before we begin, for the student, please, if you have a question, or anything, you have to write down in chat box or directly asking the question. Yeah, without further ado, I think. So we're going to the first speaker, I think, yeah. We kindly invite to Miss Angela, maybe Angela first, yeah, to give the speech for the first time. Okay, are you ready, Miss Angela? Okay.
So yeah, okay, so I'm Angela. Lisa,
You're
if you
going
want
you're
to.
going to be the first speaker and say something. So to the student, be prepared and just you write down if you have a question or something. Just write down and keep it. And then when the question and answer section, and then it's time to you to ask anything about anything. Ask anything about anything. So please, to Miss Angela Zhu, over to you.
So I'm Angela, as you guys know. Thank you guys so much for all of the introductions and having us on here. And just allowing us to like talk to some students and things like that. Um, oh, so selamat pagi. So I did learn a little bit of Indonesian, but I forgot. Saya lupa bahasa. Jadi maaf, tapi saya I remember a little bit, meningat sedikit. um, so yeah, so what's to say? So I am American. I live in Florida. I live in Florida, and so I graduated from University of South Florida, which is also in Florida, of course. And I actually graduated with a degree in music and also science. So different. And then after I graduated, I worked a little as like in the medical field. And then both Isa and I actually were in Indonesia a few months ago for as English teaching assistant. And so I was actually in South Sulawesi, Sulawesi Selatan, and Toraja. So you can see my shirt, Toraja is fabric, Toraja and fabric. Yeah. So now I'm back in the U.S. We sort of got kicked out, I guess you could say, or forced back. And so, yeah, we've returned, and I've been working since and taking some classes. So, yeah, if you guys do have any questions, please do put it in the chat, and we'll definitely answer. If Isa maybe wants to give an introduction.
Yeah, for the introduction, please students, if you have question, write down in the chat or directly. If you have a question for the introduction first. Maybe you can carry on, Miss Angela.
Abi,
Yes.
I want to ask about Isi Ahsina in third grade in Mualimat High School. And the question is, how about the right pronunciation that sometimes you can't understand the origin? I mean, the right way to say the pronunciation. Or we just asking like for two time how about Indonesian pronunciation?
Oh, wait, Isa, are you?
Yeah.
Okay. Just checking for this. Okay. So like help with the pronunciation. Like, is your question like if you don't know how to pronounce a word, how do you go about pronouncing it correctly? Is that your question?
It's like is the important for you because sometimes that you can't understand the foreign say something.
Yeah. So okay. So just like how I was trying to speak some Indonesian, maybe you guys understood some things and maybe you didn't understand some other words, but so it's sort of like the same thing with English or any other language that you learn. So usually just try your best to pronounce what you can and to try your best to have the words that you know and just try. And the other person might not understand everything you're saying, but if they understand a few words, they might be able to piece together, or they might be able to understand what you're talking about or asking about. Does that help? I don't know. So it is hard because pronunciation and things like that in grammar can sometimes be wrong, but most of the time, if you can tell someone a few words, they might understand what you're talking about and they can probably guess. And that's the good thing about communication. The good thing about talking is you don't have to have perfect grammar. Like, I know you learn about perfect grammar in school, but when you're talking, who has perfect grammar? No one does, not even in Indonesian, right? So yeah, so the best thing is to just try your best. Issa, would you
Okay,
like
thank
to
you.
add?
Yeah,
Yeah.
by making mistakes, you also learn more than just not trying, right? So like
Okay,
you also
thank
realize when you practice what you're doing wrong and what you're doing right.
thank you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this happened to Issa too, but when we were both in Indonesia, like that's what happened to me. So I would try Indonesian, I would try Bahasa, and they'd be like, apa? Apa? Like,
Yeah,
that's
that's not
T.
our
Like,
mother
that's
tongue.
like,
So
yeah. So just try your best and you'll learn from your mistakes. And sometimes people will tell you, oh, that's not right. It might actually be this. And then you'll be like, hey, I remember. But like that's how I learned Bahasa is I practice with people around I practice speaking with people around me and sometimes they would tell me, oh, that's not right, that's not the right word, or that doesn't make sense, and I'll be like, okay, I'll try again. Oh, I think there's another question.
okay, thank you so much.
Okay, good. So that's talking about the pronunciation. You have to practice, even you have a mistake. So maybe you can carry on, Angela. Maybe it's talking about some kind of the importance of English.
Yeah. I'd like to actually have, if it's fine with you guys, if Issa can introduce herself, and because I think Issa can definitely help me with some of these topics. I Issa will be, I think Issa will be able to add on to what I say if I miss anything and things like that. So if it's fine with you guys, if we can have Issa introduce herself.
So like
Okay.
we will both be answering both questions, the two questions that you gave us.
Yep.
Okay. So hello guys. My name is Maria Isabel. You can call me Isa. I am from Puerto Rico, which is part of the United States. It's a tropical island in the Caribbean. And I was in Indonesia like Angela, but I was located in Solo, in Surakarta, and I was teaching at a what's it? I forgot the name of my school.
Elementary or senior high school or junior high school?
Vocational, wow.
Oh,
SMK,
vocational school.
SMK 7. SMK 7. There we go.
Yeah,
Solo,
yeah.
Surakarta, yeah. Wow, it's been a while.
Wow.
And yeah, I studied international affairs and religious studies in New York, in upstate New York. And yeah, I'm happy to be here and to help you answer any questions. So please don't be shy. You can also write your stories on the chat if you don't feel like you want to talk, you can also just write and we'll answer as best as we can.
Yeah. Remember, if you're malu.
Yeah,
There we go.
sometimes. Okay, again, for the introduction, if you have any question for the speakers, silakan, please. The student, if you have a question for the introduction first, before we carry on to another topic. Okay, please, you have a question? If you have a question or anything. Okay, maybe later on. So maybe it's going to be Miss Angela or Miss Maria Isabel going to be the first talking about how importance of English that the student have to learn about this language. Please.
So I also learned English after, so English is my second language. I first learned Spanish because we speak Spanish in Puerto Rico. So I know a few tricks that helped me, and some of the things that I told my students was that it's a really global language. It's like I loved listening to music, I loved watching movies in English, and that really helped me learn English. So like I would sit instead of watching something in Spanish, I would just turn to SpongeBob or any other cartoon. And that really helped me learn and develop some, skill that I wouldn't learn at my classroom, right? From just sitting down and having exams. Like I had to learn also from the things that I liked, and that included music and TV shows. Angela?
Angela, maybe Miss Angela, wanna add some more?
Yeah, very good point. So when I taught at SMA in Sulawesi Selatan, I actually asked my students what helps them for the ones who were more like fluent in English, what helps them learn English. And some things they told me were exactly what Issa said. They learned from games, and then they might have had to talk to someone else who played games with them, who spoke English, and then that they practiced through that. I've had teachers that told me that they actually found someone on Facebook and started talking to someone that lived in California and would practice their English with them. I know there are so many apps out there and programs. Like I have been looking up some programs and things like that that help students actually practice English. So I think one of the things that in learning English is that also helps in learning English is that find something that you're interested in and learn about those words that you might need to know in whatever language you're learning. It doesn't have to be English, but if it is English, check up like things that, like if you like gaming, for example, check up games where you can talk to people in that language. Or if you like books, maybe start reading books in that language and start seeing like some words that you know and some words that you don't know. Um, but from a science perspective, because I did major in science, and I'm still always learning about science. So science is sort of my thing. I'm not that good at it, but sort of my thing. So what I can say in terms of science and the importance of English is that there are so many research articles that are in English, and not all, but a lot of scientists do write in English because they know that a lot of scientists do understand English. So they understand that more people will be able to read it, and so English is a more global language, but honestly, it is important to be able to learn other languages, to be able to talk to people of different backgrounds and cultures and things like that, but also for information. Um, like it doesn't matter um, whether it's English or not, in the sense that, so I remember I was making this like workshop for my students or for my community, and it was about health. And what the information that I actually got, like the information that I got to help with my workshop for health on nutrition, was actually all in Indonesian. So that helped me to learn a little more about like Indonesian words and things like that I can use when talking to students or when presenting for the workshop and things like that. So find something you're interested in and learn about some of those words and how to use those words in English or other languages that you're interested in. There's more information out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. One of
So,
the things that I told my students to do when we weren't like really having class, we were just like, I think, I don't know, we were just like fooling around. You know that song, I'm on my way by Alan Walker?
mm,
Now I'm on my
Oh
way. So I wrote it on the board, and then I explained what it is about. So like, because my students would sing it, but they wouldn't understand what they were saying, what the song was about. And so I was like, I'm sorry, but don't wanna talk. I need a moment before I go. And I'm like, okay, she wants to go. Like I would explain everything. And
yeah.
they were paying attention. Like they liked, like they liked that. That was something that music is just so helpful, I feel, in that regard.
Yeah.
that's like a good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good tips. Yeah, listening music anytime and anywhere, while driving, while we'll always swimming maybe. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah. So the thing that's a tip of how to get fluent in English. Good tips. Yeah, it's like a movie is like having partner in English or something like that. So what do you think about why we have to learn English? Why English is so important to be learned? Why do you think? Okay, maybe Miss Angela
Well,
or Miss Mac.
okay, Angela.
Oh, mencari dulu. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Um,
Yeah,
English is important because um it's just global. It's like one of the three languages spoken in the
Mm,
UN. You have I think Mandarin, and then French, English. Um, and so it's a very like in global politics, right? Also in Angela mentioned information. There's a lot of research conducted in English, which I think it's a very good point. And it's it also opens doors. Like if you know another language, especially English, then you have opportunities to apply to scholarships, beasiswa, in the
mm.
United States, also
yeah,
in the UK, yeah. In Australia, like you have then opportunities to travel, to engage with another culture, to learn, and to expose yourself to other um lifestyles, right? And I think that's what made me learn. What do you think, Angela?
Yeah. What do you think, Angela?
good. Yeah, scholarship. So beasiswa, for anyone who didn't hear Isa say it, but beasiswa, yeah. So like I actually, when I was working with my students, one of the things that we would do would be look up scholarships. And it's yeah, so all of the English speaking, like the UK, America, Canada, Australia, yeah, those countries have scholarships, especially if you learn how to speak English. But there are other countries too, um, like Korea. We saw like Global Korea Scholarship. It covers everything. They pay for everything. And for Singapore, um, there's like a really big scholarship to go to school in Singapore that covers everything and pays for everything. And like there are scholarships for Japan, and they all like require you to speak English or to be somewhat fluent. We were in a program that the Indonesian version, Aminef, they have a lot of scholarships that require you to speak English and you have to be fluent, and they help cover for everything. So they pay for everything, and I mean your plane, your fit, living
Food,
expenses, yeah,
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 living
your
and
house,
personal
for
expenses.
every, yeah. to come study in America, or yeah, to come study in America. And so that specifically, that's for Indonesian students, that can, and it's for students that can speak English fluently, usually, to do research or to study and things like that. So yeah, like Isa said, there are more opportunities if you can learn another language, especially English. There are more opportunities out there for English speakers. Yeah.
Okay, good. So maybe the student will have a question or a comment or something. Just don't forget to write down, or you want to comment directly, just please.
Pertanyaan.
Pertanyaan, silakan anak-anakku. Please, pertanyaan. Please unmute yourself, my student. If you have question, jangan malu-malu. Ya.
Jangan malu.
Yeah, don't be shy. Ayo, come on. Who?
Yeah. Like, if you want to know about the scholarships or opportunities, I would be happy to send you those. If you wanted to know, if you wanted me to send you them.
Yeah.
I have a list.
Yeah, for the 6th grade, if you want to know more about the scholarship or anything, just give the speaker questions. Please, ayo, be brave. Who?
If you also just want to know things about the US
US.
or anything about us.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. So please, student, ayo, Bulan, 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 Bulan. I know you have so many questions running in your mind. Please give me one. Bulan, Bulan. Bulan, you have a question?
I want to ask something, but not now.
Oh, not now. Okay, okay. Maybe you it first.
Rahasia.
Okay. Maybe.
There's in the chat.
It's
Yeah.
chat. Okay, there's in chat here. Okay. Hi, my name is Lintang from grade 4. I want to know, before you come to Indonesia, what's your tough Indonesia?
What did I think of Indonesia?
What do you think? Yeah, what do you think, and what stuff it is?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, good question.
Okay, what do you think about Indonesia?
Before I came to Indonesia, I thought it was gonna be, because everything about Indonesia is referenced to like Bali, and like there's a lot of attention for this small part of Indonesia. I was ignorant in that regard. I thought it was gonna be like beaches and tourists, but I was placed in Solo, which was very different, right? It's in central Java, and there were a lot of forests at Sekipan, and it was beautiful. It was also very crowded, which I wasn't expecting, but it was beautiful. I definitely think that before I came, I was not really aware of what Indonesia was like, and I learned more about it once I got to the country.
Okay, what do you think, Miss Angela?
Yeah, so I will admit, I also did not know that much about Indonesia. I was also very ignorant, which means like I really did not know a lot, but I also did not like study about Indonesia a lot, so that was my fault. But so I knew that Indonesia would be like hot and humid. So I thought that all of Indonesia would be hot and humid all the time and would be like Florida. So Florida is always very hot. And so I thought it'd be similar, and I thought I would only see beaches everywhere. I think I was okay. So I think I was like not excited everywhere because Florida has that. But so I lived in Toraja, so we were in mountains, of course, and mountains are awesome. I love mountains, and it was just really beautiful there. And also, beaches in Indonesia are so much better than Florida. Like Florida beaches are so ugly compared to Indonesian beaches. Yeah, and I guess I don't know. So I will tell you what I did think. So when I learned about that I would be in Toraja, I will say I was a little scared. Like everything that's online about Toraja is all about like dead bodies and they live with their dead and things like that. So yeah, I was really scared at first, but when I went there, it changed my thinking and it made me realize, oh, I think my thinking is very Western in that Western, like in the West, we don't really like to think about death. We're scared about death and things like that. But when I went there, I like learned. I was like, oh, I have to change my mindset. Like this is not right. I can't think of it from like the West perspective. I have to think of it from like this culture and understanding what this could mean in this culture. So yeah, I guess I was excited to learn about a new culture, but I will say I did not know too much about Indonesia in the beginning. So good question.
Yeah. What about, have you already in Toraja? It means, have you experienced and see the dead people hanging in the cave?
Oh yeah. You mean yeah, Londa and oh man, I forgot all of them. But yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have.
What do you think? What do you think? You scared or something?
No, but they turn gray, and yeah. So it's just interesting. It's not. No, I didn't. I don't know. I didn't think it was scary because I've seen dead bodies before, and I've seen skeletons before. So yeah, it was just interesting to yeah. Like I wasn't scared, but it was just interesting to see so many, I guess, in one place.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe Miss Maria want to add some more about anything, or we have a question here right now from Kautsar. I want to know, how is your experience learning in Indonesia? Do you mind telling me? It means experiences in learning in Indonesia. It means while you are in Indonesia, you were in Indonesia.
Yes, Kutsar. Thank you for asking this question. My experience learning Indonesian was really good because Bahasa Indonesia is super easy to learn compared to English.
Yeah.
Like I remember stuff. I just can't. What was it? I know like how to ask for things and directions, how to order food. What was the ayam
Ayam
gorengan,
gorengan.
es lemon tea. Terima kasih. Selamat pagi, selamat malam, blah, blah, blah. I love it. I think it was a very good, I have taken classes in Italian, French, but Bahasa Indonesia was the best language to learn. And I had a lot of fun also because I got to talk to more people and I got to make friends. I have a friend in Solo. Her name is Fatiha, and she is an English teacher in Sebelas Maret University. She's a student. She was a student who recently graduated, and she practiced with me. And we also talked about things and like we just became friends. So it was also part of the journey, and it allowed me to build relationships, build connections, and also survive in Indonesia.
Yeah. Wait, Isa, do you have any like funny stories about like a mistake you like maybe you messed up in Indonesian, or any like funny or interesting story about when you learned Indonesian?
There was this professor called Bapak Selamat, and so it was like Selamat is congratulations.
Yep.
But then it's also a name. So I was like, Selamat, Bapak Selamat. So like I would say congratulations, like or congratulations. I don't know. It was just a weird thing, and I would laugh, and nobody would know why I was laughing. But
Yeah.
I thought I was just like making a fool out of myself. But it was just, I don't know. It was just like a funny thing. What about you?
What about you, Miss Isabela? You have a funny moment or something?
Actually, I'm sure I do because I messed up a lot. Like when I was, so I felt like I had to really learn Indonesian at my site. So I definitely messed up a lot. I think one thing I do remember was that, so Pesta Orang Mati like means funeral, but like I learned that Pesta means party and Orang Mati means dead person. So I thought that like I didn't know it meant funeral. I thought like they were like I thought when teachers told me Pesta, yeah, we're going to Pesta Orang Mati. Like I thought they were like I thought they were joking with me. I'm like wait, what? No, it's not called that. I'm going to a dead person party. Like, why do you guys call it a party? And so I just thought that was like, I thought they were joking with me, and I was like, what? And then they're like, no, like it's actually called Pesta Orang Mati. I was like, okay. I'm like, okay, yeah. So if you see on my WhatsApp, it says Pesta Orang Mati because I thought like that was the funniest thing that I've ever heard, which is probably not great that I thought it was funny. But also that when I first arrived to Raja, we went to like a funeral like a lot. Like there was 1 week where we went to like 3 funerals and a wedding in that same week. And yeah, it's a lot of food. Anyway, Pesta Orang Mati.
Pesta Orang Mati. Yeah, that's happened in Indonesia. It sounds weird. Okay, so thank you very much for the interesting, something like telling a story or something. Okay, maybe another question for the students. Directly, it's okay. You just unmute yourself. Go ahead. Talking about the US or talking about the politics, it's okay. Doesn't matter. Talking about education or anything. So please feel free and unmute yourself, my student. Please. Yeah, please come on. One of you.
Arotul has a question, and Octaviani.
Okay, we read from the chat box from Jahratul. Okay, from Jahratul. what your opinion? What's your opinion from your own family that you were at Indonesia? What's your family's opinion?
So you mean the community? Like
Uh,
the community?
family. When
Probably
you were
Alex.
in Indonesia, what is your family's things about it?
Oh, so they don't know, my family did not know anything about Indonesia. They thought I was just going to a very, very far place that
Hmm.
they couldn't have access to if something happened to me. So they were very, very worried. And like they did not want me to go because of the distance. It's really far. And because they also don't know like the politics or the culture or really anything. so, so it was hard for them, but I I sat down with them and I tried educating them a little bit, and I think
And
that helped a little. But yeah, what about you, Ange?
yeah, what about you?
Like me. Okay. So actually, it took me 1 year to persuade my family to let me go, to let me go to Indonesia. So I applied and I was like, hey, I might be going to Indonesia in like a year, and they were like, no, you're not going, and I'm like, well, I'm applying. So yeah, so my parents were completely against it, but I kept being like, well, I'm going to Indonesia, like it'll happen. Like I'm like, I just heard back from them. I'm going to Indonesia in a few months. They're like, no, you need to cancel that. You're not allowed to go. And so yeah, and so I was like, I'm going to Indonesia in a few weeks. We need to prepare things. And they're like, okay, yeah, let's prepare things. Let's make sure you're safe and things like that. So they were really against me going to Indonesia because it's so far away. And also because, so I traveled before somewhere and something happened. Like there was an incident that happened to me, and where I had to be in the hospital. So they were really worried that would happen again, and didn't want that to happen because Indonesia is actually halfway across the world. It's just like 2 days of travel. It's so far. Yeah, so they were, yeah, they were against it. But then I started talking about like who I met and like people that I like got close to and things like that. And my parents were like, "Oh yeah, we should visit and things like that." And my dad actually was able to come when he was like doing his business trip or whatever. And yeah, he felt better coming and meeting the people that like the wonderful people, wonderful Indonesians and other people like Isa that I met along the way. So yeah, their opinions definitely changed.
Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you very much. So we have a question from Facebook. Yeah, because we live on Facebook right now. Yeah, we have a question from Facebook. The question is this. I have a question. When you are given the opportunity to teach Indonesia, will you be willing? It means you willing to teach Indonesia again?
That's a good question. I think it also has to do with the question that Octaviani Putri asked
Okay.
about education in Indonesia.
Indonesia. Okay, maybe go
Because
ahead.
so I think that so when I taught in Indonesia, it was a very strict way of teaching English because I was working at a state school, a public school, and we had to follow the government curriculum. And that curriculum for English class is not good. I thought it was not good, and my students would be very frustrated, and they would just, be bored. And I understood why they were, so, just not interested, because we weren't teaching them in a way that they needed to be taught. And I think if I were to teach English again, in Indonesia, it would be with like having my own curriculum, with doing things my way, and not like have to follow the government curriculum. Yeah.
I totally agree. I remember seeing like artillery and battalion in the textbook, and I'm like, I never use these words. Like I
Yeah.
never, I like I know what these words mean, but I have never needed to use these words in my life. Like artillery and battalion, like I have never needed to use these words. So yeah, I agree with Issa. Like the textbook, just was not great. Like it was not the best in learning how to speak in English, just how to actually use English, or how to learn English like we actually use it, like day to day. So like the words we learn day to day are going to be different from like these specific words about specific topics. And so yeah, I definitely think that yeah, the education was just, it was just very like it has to be this.
Rigid.
There's like a, yeah, very rigid. Like, and I remember like all of the teachers lesson planning, and they would have to write out every single thing that they need to lesson plan, or every single word that they will say in class. And I'm like, that's like, okay, like you can lesson plan all you want. You can write down every single thing you will say. Class will probably not go exactly how your lesson plan goes. And so I feel like the education, it was so rigid. It was so tight. And I feel like I wish there was more like flexibility, like to allow teachers, because I know there are some teachers out there are like they really want the best for their students, but it's hard when you're forcing teachers to have to teach this way, or have to do this exactly this way. And yeah,
It's also that,
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, go
In
ahead.
No,
in Indonesia, like the classes are also very teacher focused. So students never
yeah.
discuss or never talk in class or ask questions. The students never, they just never participate in anything. And
Yeah.
so it's just the teacher lecturing, and it's also, that also makes it very boring sometimes, because if you're a kid, if you're a teenager, it's best to have something to do, have like, I don't know, do like games, like English games, puzzles, or activities that are designed for students to learn, but while having them engaged. So like, and those were the type of things that the Fulbright program tried, like had us do, like the Americans that were in Indonesia. But it was also just like, it's so ingrained in the culture that I don't, like, after we left, like I don't know if that's something that actually changed anything. But I think it's important for students to do something in class. Like it's not just the teacher teaching, it's also the students asking questions, talking to one another, practicing English, like
Yeah.
not just writing, like talking and talking and talking and repeating and practicing like that. Like the first student that asked Angela a question is just like, you need to practice in order, right, to make mistakes. because then it you know, you can learn.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so if we have know the problem of the education in Asia, what is the first thing that we have to change about the whole things about the English teaching, maybe English learning in school or at school? Maybe like the teacher itself or the curriculum or the method or what? What do you think? What should be changed in education, especially in English teaching?
Ooh, that's
Angela.
loaded. What?
Angela,
Yeah,
please.
that's loaded. Ooh, the first thing I feel okay. So
Teacher,
I feel like,
curriculum or what?
yeah. So I feel like if we throw out, let's just say we throw out the curriculum stuff. Okay. So
Yeah.
I personally think that there, I actually think that the first thing should be that there should be an understanding. This might be because I have a more of like a Western perspective or a Western view, but that there should be an understanding or like a respect for students because students and younger kids and things like that, they are a lot smarter than I think a lot of, or than I think like teachers or anyone above them or adults might give them credit for. So students are smarter than I think most people realize. Like, they have a lot more ideas. Like when I was in class, like, or even after, like on Instagram, sometimes I would post questions for my students and they would give me these responses that I didn't expect. And I was like, wow, you know about this. Wow, this is awesome. And I feel like the first step would just honestly be like between the teachers and students, like that dynamic. So I want to use an easy word, like that the relationship between teachers and students. I feel like that should probably be the first thing that changes because I feel like a lot of students have a hard time learning or don't want to participate, don't want, they're like malu malu because they're scared that their teacher will yell at them and things like that. But if the students can feel like their teacher wants them to actually learn and wants them to actually just try, and I think that would change a lot in the class. But yeah, Lisa?
There is also like this like it's okay to have an accent when you speak English, right? And so like not focus so much on those little details, and like teachers should celebrate students trying, and just not like if students make mistakes, like it's okay, like do not like correct every single thing, like let them try, let them, you know, just like say things and practice rather than just like, oh, this is pronounced like this or this is, you know, like it becomes also very scary to like have someone just correct every single thing. So like it's good to maybe correct one or two, you know, and that's it. But like let's just let students breathe and enjoy English a little bit.
Yeah. In
Yeah,
Madrasah
that's
Mualimat.
such a good point.
Okay. So in Madrasah, for your information, the speaker, in Madrasah Mualimat Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta, in our school, in secondary school, the student have to learn about 25 or 27 subject. What about in your country? How many
That's
subject that you learn when
Not
you
one
in a secondary school or junior high school or senior high school? What do you think?
that was another issue that I was um I was also thinking about, because students have so many things that they need to learn at the same time. And English, in order to learn English, it needs to be every single day. And my students have had one English class per week. And
Hmm.
so they would practice English on Tuesday, and then next week they wouldn't remember anything that they learned that last week. and so because they have all these other classes, they have Arabic, they have Bahasa, they have Japanese, they have I don't know, they have so many things. They should I think um the the school or maybe the government, yeah, needs to like address the structure because and prioritize the classes that students take, because it's if you just bombard so many classes, it is not gonna be efficient. The students are just gonna be very stressed with all this work, with all these things that are different from one another. Like Arabic and English are not related, and English and Bahasa Indonesia, it's hard to also associate the languages that you're learning all at once. So it's just going to be more confusing and maybe just not interesting.
Okay, what about you, Miss Angela?
Yeah, that's such a good I remember, I think my students have to learn like 4 languages at one time. It was like German, English, Bahasa, and Tarajan, and they had classes for all of them. And I was like, how would you remember anything? You can't. It's too hard. So yeah, that's a lot of subjects. And I feel like if you have so many subjects going on, plus I know a lot of students were involved in like clubs and things after that, or organizations, and it's just too hard. It's a lot of stress and pressure, and it's hard to. How can you focus on like 27 subjects at once? Yeah. But you asked about when we were in high school. I don't know about Lisa. I have heard so high schools are different depending on where you are too in the U.S.
Oh, that was
So I don't know how many. What?
I forgot that was the question.
So I don't know.
It's okay.
I mean, you went on a good point though. You like brought up a good point. So I don't remember how many subjects we had at once, but I will say we had like 7 classes in a day. That was how our schedule was. So, and then
I had 8.
so
I had eight like subjects
Exactly.
total.
Oh,
8.
yeah. Just 8.
Yeah. English, Spanish, history, math, and then what's it called? So electives. So like there were many courses that you could pick, and you would take those courses. So like maybe, so that's what I was trying to say. So like if the government would allow the students to choose what courses they could take, right? I think it would be easier, because if some students want to learn Arabic rather than English, they should just pick Arabic. Or if some students are actually really interested in English and not German, they should pick, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, yeah, electives is such a good point because, like, if you look at me, I'm like a science person, but my sister, my older sister, she was not a science person. If you had forced her to take all of those subjects, she probably would have hated school. But so like education here, like we do get to choose some of the classes. Like so we have English, we have history, science, and math. Those are required. But we get to choose like if we want to take like Spanish or German or French, or if we want to take band or orchestra or whatever. And so my sister actually learned that she wanted to pursue art. So she's now a graphic designer in New York, and she's doing awesome. And it's because I'm pretty sure it's because she was able to choose that she wanted to choose art classes when she was in high school, and that's how she learned she wanted to do graphic design. So yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. Please, student, if you have question right now, this is your time to practice your English right now. Anything, just express your mind. Yeah, please unmute yourself and say your question and mention your question. Please, before we talking about your country, I think the student will have a question. Bunga tadi, bunga, what is bunga? You have a question or other person? Please, you have a question, unmute yourself and say something. Or you have a comment or something, please feel free to say something about. Ayo, don't be shy, jangan malu-malu ya. Ini malu-malu semua masih. Bunga, bulan. Okay, bulan. Please.
Okay. I wanna ask some questions about we know that in Indonesia there's many teenagers that not feel that we are not able to balance to play, to learn, to study, such as different in the way we learn. In in your country and in Indonesia, what's your opinion about the teenagers, such as the different way to learn, the way to socialize? Because I often watch a movie and like very different, and they seem the to have the way to able to focus on the future besides having fun, and because there's many teenagers in Indonesia that not able to balance that. So I think you can give us some lessons about in your country to us, to all of us, to reach our brightness future. Thank you.
Okay,
Amazing.
amazing. Thank you very much.
Yes. Um, so I think we should also begin with movies. Like they don't always portray reality. I think okay, there are students maybe that are uh that have a lot of free time and that can balance, sports and art and studying. And there might also be students that are just always studying and have no other life, right? Or just are super focused on schoolwork. So that's really important not to take movies for granted. Um, but I think that like with the with the topic of education in Indonesia, like I understand why students are very busy with schoolwork. There's just so much work that students are expected to do, and it is very overwhelming. I think my students in Indonesia were very stressed because of all the subjects and the expectations, the exams. I think there are so many exams that students need to take in Indonesia. I can't believe but that may be another thing we should add to the list. Exams. I think we should have less exams and more practice, and just like try to prioritize, right, again, the workload, the realistic amount of workload that a student can actually take. and yeah, just like I think but for now, I think like an advice would just be to like find the stuff that you like about your classes and focus on that and on what you can control, and and just like do the most with what you have. So like if you really love English, you know, just like take more time in English, or or if you don't like math but you like the teacher that teaches math, right? Then try to give it a little, I don't know, more time to it, I guess. I hope that helps. I don't know. I loved your question though.
And maybe
Belonging.
before Miss Angela, before Miss Angela, what about the teenager? How to socialize? It means, is there any differences between Indonesia and your country? Socialize between one another?
Yeah. I think that's also like a second question. I think
Yeah.
there were like
Yeah,
two questions in one. So maybe Angela, if you want to like add anything to the first question
Yeah.
about
Yeah. Well, I think you
workload.
covered it. Like, just that the workload is different. Like for when I was in high school, classes ended at 2 p.m. I think, 2 in the afternoon. So we had time to like do work and things like that after class. I actually forgot when school ends in SMA. I forgot, but yeah. So yeah, we could work or do class, but yeah, I think the workload is just very different from in Indonesia and here. So I can't say much about balance except try to plan and schedule, but the workload is so different. It's so heavy because there's so much like busy work given in Indonesia that yeah. But yeah, it's like Issa said, it's not here it's not exactly like how movies are like. I remember watching movies and TV series about American high schools and thinking, oh, high schools in America will look like this. They will have the cool group, and then they will have the band geeks, and then they will have this group and that group, and there will be people always bullied. I remember thinking that and being in like high school and like, this is not like the movies or like TV at all. Like we had band is like really big at my school. So all of like the cool kids were in band. We had a lot of the cool kids. We had a lot of different like groups or whatever. There just weren't like the groups that like I always see on TV. So I feel like how American teenagers and things like that, like on TV and in movies are different from, or can be different, very different from what like we actual American teenagers have been through. So yeah.
Yeah.
And like the second question about socializing, is that like how teenagers like have friends, or like how they go out?
Yeah, hang out.
Oh, like what do they do? Like what do they do when they hang out or?
Yeah, what they did do.
So I went to a boys and a girls school, like it was a mixed school. And I would just go with, because I know that in Indonesia, like it's a, you know, people separate the
Separate.
gender, right?
Separate
Girls here,
sometimes.
boys here. So in my high school, like we were mixed, and we were just friends. Like we will talk during breaks. We would sometimes talk during class, and the teacher would yell at us. But like any like normal rebellious, you know, kind of person would do at that age. But like at my school there was an ice cream shop, and so we would go after school to eat ice cream. And there was also a movie theater, so I would go to the movie theater on Wednesdays because there was always a cheaper ticket on Wednesdays. So
Wait, you had a movie theater at school?
no, next, like we
Or
had
like-
to walk. We had to walk. But
Oh my god. I'm so jealous. I mean, so like I guess after school activity sort of thing. Like I was in clubs, so I was involved and I did band and things like that. But with friends, so I couldn't drive until like my last year of high school. So I couldn't really go anywhere with my friends. But sometimes we would just like, go to the mall, watch a movie. I guess we were pretty boring. we didn't really do
parties,
much. Like
it would be parties sometimes.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like I'm not invited to those parties, so
Angela.
Okay, I think I don't realize that we have already have an hour. I think, yeah. So maybe in 5 minutes, I need one more question from student. I think one more question from student, please. I give you time to ask to the speaker, Miss Angela and Miss Maria Isabela. You please practice to student. I give you one more chance to speak, to practice. One more chance. Yeah.
Can I ask?
Okay, go ahead. Please turn on your video, please. Back outside.
let's see your beautiful face.
Okay. Thank you.
How do you
Go
feel
ahead.
when you how do you
What's your name?
feel
What's
when
your
you
name?
learn?
What's your name? Please tell me. What's your name?
My name is Kausar. I would like to ask, how is your what is it? How do you feel when you learn Indonesian? I mean,
Yeah.
how do you feel when you're in Indonesia?
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Just one question?
Really, yeah, really, really well said. Um, so how I felt when I was in Indonesia. Um, so this was strange because I am different from the locals in Indonesia, right? I have a different skin color and I have different hair. I don't really cover my head. I don't wear a hijab. And so I really stand out. So I just look very different and people would would always want to have a photo with me and I would feel very um strange, uncomfortable, sometimes just malu-malu, and and I just sometimes sometimes it was very overwhelming. But I mean, I loved living in Indonesia. I think Indonesia is beautiful. I think my community was very nice to me, very welcoming, and um yeah, it was just like some of those moments where I had to address how different I was. I never knew how different I was from people until I went to Indonesia.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. What about you, Miss Angela?
Yeah, so yeah, I would agree. Like at times I did feel somewhat uncomfortable. I think so. I had a site mate, so they were white, so they got a lot more attention than I did, and so I would have to sort of like defend them a little, be like, okay, come on, let's go. Like, are we done? Okay. Um, so how I felt when I was in Indonesia. I think over time people got used to me and like they already saw me. So like they already saw me so many times because I lived there. So they were just like they got used to me and things were fine. At first it was a little like scary because it's like, oh, like I'm the foreigner, like what's going to happen? Like I don't know what will happen. But I learned that my community and my like the area I lived in was like it was nice, like it was fine. There weren't like a lot of. I felt like I felt safe there essentially. So I mean, okay, if I were to be very honest, like very, very honest, I will say, I was a little worried at the end. Because obviously, okay, so I am Chinese American, well, Chinese Taiwanese American. So when COVID happened, those were some of the more of the tougher times, I guess. When like when people in my community would start being like, oh, China, like, oh, COVID, and oh, coronavirus, like saying like I had corona just because I was like Chinese American. And I mean, obviously they don't know that I'm American, but like what they see is Chinese. So it felt actually, to be honest, it felt sort of isolating. Like when COVID happened and it was getting more serious, I was I was a little scared. I will say that I didn't feel as scared as like when I came back to the US, because I had heard a lot more stories about the US about people actually like not treating Asians nicely because of the way they look, and they think that Asians have the virus just because they're Asian and things like that. Um, but it was just, I was actually like the last week I was there, I was actually just sort of sad for the last few days. I was sad because I was leaving my community and everyone that I had like formed a relationship, and all of my students, oh my gosh, they're so cute. But also like it felt sad to hear people like talking about me and my playmate too, and just being like, oh, they're foreigners. They're the ones that have corona. They're the ones that will give us all corona. But like we had been in our community for like quite a few months, for like 8 months, and we hadn't left to go anywhere. So yeah, it was just a little sad to like at the end for me, I felt like. But I don't know. I would still go back to Indonesia. I still like Indonesia. I love Jogja. Like that's, I
Yeah,
won't
yeah.
lie. Like I have visited Jogja and I love Jogja. Like that's like one of my favorite places in Indonesia right now. So yeah, it's great. I like it there.
We should
Okay.
go back together.
Yeah, okay. Okay, thank you very much. Maybe it's the end of this program. So to make a closing remark from you, both of you, the speaker, please ask this last question, like give the students suggestion or tips how to be a successful person in the future. As you have a suggestion to the student, and then this answer as the closing remark for you. That's the end of this section, I think. So please give the student tips how to be successful woman, successful person in the future. And your answer will be the closing remarks. Thank you, please.
Angela, do you want to
Oh,
start?
yeah.
I'm like
Okay.
I'm just thinking.
Yeah.
um okay, wait. I sort of want to say two things. So
Okay.
for English, there is no secret to, there's no like secret book or secret like internet thing that you can buy or whatever. There's no secret to learning English. It is practice. It is a lot. It is practice, practicing with anyone you can find. Just being able to practice like talking or with your teachers even. Your teachers know English. Like practice with them. Their English is usually very good. They're always like fluent. So practice with them or professors. Yeah. So leading to, okay, from that point, as in there is no secret or whatever that we're hiding here as to how you learn English. It really is practice. Taking from that point, that also does mean that you need to put hard work in. So my I guess my summary thing or whatever for how to be successful is find something you're passionate about. Find something that you really love doing or something that you like to do, and work hard in that field, and like learn what you can learn about that field. Learn about the different things in different languages. Learn like everything you can learn about in that field. Learn about all the different things that you can, and see what it is that you like and focus on that. And you can't get there without no hard work, you know? I mean, I take it from me. I have made a lot of mistakes, but I have learned that I cannot just slack off. Like I cannot just expect it to come to me. I have to work hard. I have worked hard to get to what I'm doing or to the point that I want to reach. Take it from me, from all of my mistakes. You need to find that thing that you love and work hard at it. And opportunities will hopefully come your way.
Yeah.
What I got. Isa?
Look for
Okay,
those
thank you.
opportunities, right? Yeah, I was also just gonna say do what makes you happy. Like just focus on what makes you happy, and like Angela said, also just put a lot of work into it.
Yeah. I mean, people told my sister art. Even my parents told my sister at first, like, art. You want to major in art? You're not going to get any money. And I'm like, look at her now, like graphic designer doing really well in New York. I'm like, yeah. So my thing is, go for it and work hard at it. Like you can do it. Believe in yourself. Just try.
Okay, thank you very much. I just write down some kind of note here. I just read it. Find something that you interested in. Okay, that's good thing. Do the most once you have, and then do more time. Do make you happy. Okay, and be practicing in English. Focus on what you like, and then work hard and take mistake as a lesson, yeah, something like that. So I hope that it's going to be very useful for the student to be a successful woman in the futures. Okay, thank you very much again for the speakers. We're coming to the end of this section. I think finally, I myself as a moderator just to hope that this agenda will be useful for the student, for the knowledge, for the insight, for the experiences, for the anything, a new perspective maybe. So from deepest of my heart, I do apologize for any mistake that I've already done. And I hope that the cooperation and relationship between American Corner, UMY, University of Muhammadiyah, Yogyakarta, and Madrasah Mualimat Muhammadiyah, Yogyakarta will be carried on again and again, going on again and again. I hope that. So thank you very much again to Miss Maria Isabela and Miss Angela Zhu. Thank you very much for your sharing your experience. Or yeah, it's really good, and yeah, I think it's gonna be very useful for our student. And I would like to, yeah, say again, express my gratitude again to distinguished speaker here. Yeah, that's a good thing because, yeah, I really appreciate because this program is like an immersion class. There is no translation, and the student try to catch to understand what the speaker is talking about. Okay, that's good thing. Once again, I do apologize for any inconvenience that I've already done. I hope that we can meet again. Maybe not virtually, yeah, maybe sometimes in another place, in another way. Maybe when you come to Indonesia, please come to Jogja. I will please welcome you to our school, please. Okay, thanks again, and have a great day, and goodbye. Thank you very much, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Back to MC, please.
Waalaikumsalam.
Okay, everyone. The next agenda is closing. Let's closing our our program today. But before we close the agenda, or the program, we will have the photo session. The participant in this program, can you on your camera? We will take some picture.
Okay, yes, my student, please turn on your camera, your video, so we want to take a picture together. Please.
Okay, there are 125 people still in this meeting room, and we have 5 pages. So probably you can smile and pose 5 times because you never know in which page you are currently. Yeah. Okay. Let's start from the first page. Smile. Okay. Thank you. And now the second page. 1, 2, 3, smile. And then the third page. Okay. Oh, no one is turning on the. Okay, let's see. 1, 2, 3. Here's the fourth. And the last one, the fifth page. Cheese. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thanks to Miss Angela and Miss Isabel to give some insight to us. Just let's close our program. Thank you. See you in agenda everyone. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Miss Isabel and Miss Angela.
Thank you, Pak Dwi. Thank you,
for having me.
Thank you,
Angela.
Miss
Thank you,
Marisa.
Isabel. And thank you for everyone.
Terima kasih semuanya. Thank you very
Yes.
much.
Thank you to all the students to ask questions and stuff. Good job.